my film robots. Welcome to our course on mastering the three-act structure in scriptwriting. I'm thrilled to guide you through this essential storytelling framework. In this module, we'll dive deep into understanding and applying the three-act structure to your story ideas. Let's get started with Act 1, the setup. Act 1 is all about introducing your characters, their world, and their initial conflicts. This is where you set the stage for your story. The exposition is crucial for this. Exposition is the part of the story where you provide essential background information to your audience. It's all about setting the stage for the story to unfold. Here, you reveal who your protagonist is, what their everyday life looks like, and what challenges they face. But I know you are wondering, how do I include exposition and how do I do it good? The first thing you would want your exposition to cover is, number 1, introduce your protagonist. Show their daily routine and environment. For example, in The Wizard of Oz, we see Dorothy's life on the farm in Kansas. Then you will want to reveal their goals and desires. What does your protagonist want? Dorothy dreams of a place over the rainbow, which sets up her desire for adventure. Okay, now, let's highlight their challenges. What obstacles do they face? This could be internal struggles or external conflicts. Dorothy feels misunderstood and underappreciated. Here are some quick tips. Number 1, be relatable. Make your audience connect with your protagonist. Show, don't tell. Use actions and dialogue to reveal important details. So exposition works well sometimes in dialogue. Just plainly make your character say in convo what is going on. For example, Jamie, I can't believe I only have 2 more years to live because of this cancer. Keep it engaging. Make sure the exposition is interesting and hooks the audience. Next, we have the inciting incident. This is the catalyst that propels your protagonist into their adventure. Think of it as the call to adventure. Author and editor Kristen Kiefer suggests asking yourself the following questions to help you craft the inciting incident. How is my protagonist dissatisfied with their life? What would it take for my protagonist to find satisfaction? This is their goal. What are my protagonist's biggest fears and character flaws? How would the actions that my protagonist needs to take to find satisfaction force them to confront their fears and/or flaws? The catalyst is often called the call to adventure and asks your protagonist to push themselves out of their comfort zone. This is where Luke Skywalker receives a distress call from Princess Leia, where Tony Stark is captured by terrorists at the start of Iron Man. Will the protagonist rise to the challenge, or will they resist the call to adventure? After all, going on this journey will have consequences for themselves and those around them. What's at stake if they fail? Depending on the character and their core fears and flaws, you may need to dedicate a few scenes to raise the stakes so that the character has no choice but to accept. After the inciting incident, your protagonist may have second thoughts. This hesitation adds depth and realism to their journey. The climax of Act 1, or plot point 1, is when your protagonist decides to engage with the main conflict. This decision propels them into Act 2. Act 2, confrontation or build, is where the stakes are raised. Your protagonist faces obstacles and challenges that test their resolve. Typically, this is the longest of all 3 sections. Act 2 usually comprises the second and third quarters of the story. The midpoint is a significant event that changes the story's direction. It often involves something going horribly wrong for the protagonist. It's no big surprise that the midpoint takes place at, drumroll please, the middle of the story. A significant event should occur here, usually involving something going horribly wrong. Return to the protagonist's main goal to establish what this midpoint event should be. What must happen for them to feel that their goal is being directly threatened? What could make the character even more acutely aware of the stakes at hand? Example from The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy finally reaches the Emerald City and meets with the wizard, who is a big disappointment. He initially refuses to meet with them, and when he eventually does, he declines to help them until they bring him the Wicked Witch's broomstick. In the second half of Act 2, your protagonist encounters more obstacles. These challenges force them to adapt and grow. Our poor protagonist has fallen on hard times. They thought they were making headway on their goal, and then the midpoint came and threw them off their rhythm. Give them some time to reflect on the story's conflict here. The aftermath of the midpoint crisis will force the protagonist to pivot from being a passenger to a more proactive force to be reckoned with. You might want to plan a sequence where the main character's resolve is bolstered through productive progress on their journey's goal. Think of plot point 2 as the pep talk your character needs to stand up straight and get ready to meet their antagonist head-on. They'll need this confidence to handle what comes next. Example, the decision to face the Wicked Witch. Dorothy must decide whether to risk heading to the Wicked Witch's castle or give up on her chance of going home. She and her companions decide to confront the witch. Act 3. Resolution or payoff brings the two a close. The protagonist faces the final conflict and achieves their goal, leading to a satisfying conclusion. By the end of this course, you'll be equipped to break down your stories into cohesive, engaging scripts that captivate your audience.